Hello and welcome to the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. My name is Ateng Emmanuel. Today in the house I have a guest who has a wealth of experience. He has worked in Uganda, he has been to Kigali, he has worked all over East Africa doing coffee stuff, putting up coffee schools, and he is the MD, Managing Director of Volcano Coffee Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mr. Gerald Katabazi, to the Coffee Break Show for the first time.
I'm trying to pioneer a new coffee culture that is structured, and structured I mean like is aligned to the global business dynamics, so that when someone reads Ugandan coffee, is able to really resonate it to its origin. So what do I mean? Like when we begin giving stories, there should be a reason, there should be a cause to why that coffee is moving places to, from Uganda to other such places. Destinations. Yes.
Okay. Speaking of the coffee culture, you've been around all these places, you know, going to even DC. What are the major differences you've seen in the coffee culture? And perhaps before we get there, how would you describe coffee culture? Then we'd move into the differences between the coffee culture and the different places you've worked in outside Uganda, and also the coffee culture within our own country.
Okay, I'll give you an overview on how the coffee culture in Uganda has been transformed or has been moving from a place to the other. We are talking of 10 years back experience where we had 2% as a coffee domestic consumption rate. And I'm glad to mention that we've really managed to move from 2% now to close to 10% in a space of 10 years. So that gives you a picture that the culture is catching up. However, there's still a lot of work to do. To do in terms of the one, larger coffee is exported. You're aware of that. And you know why, and you know, if you either way, you can tell, you know, the reason to why it is exported. And why it was coined as to be a cash crop. All these are crop. All these are measures to really make the crop get stuck, or the players or the farmers themselves gain nothing. So it's a culture we want to begin building as young entrepreneurs in Uganda, that no, look, without exporting it, we can still consume this. I'll give you an example. I was in Istanbul in 2016. There was an exhibition. I had to go with the, you know, collect the samples from different origins and then put them on a plane, roast a few beans, ground it, then have it on in a booth, you know, customize my booth deck. Looked wow. But here comes a Danish guy who came to my booth, and then we had a one-on-one. He's like, "What's up? I'm cool. Why here?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm here to do business. I'm looking for buyers who can buy the product." So we went into numbers. Shockingly, the numbers were really valid, but not giving a proper explanation. This is how it came. He asked me the population back home. Then we are 38, 39 Ugandan population. The number of people that forms up this nation. Then we went into production. How many bags can you produce? Then we are like 3.7 or 3.5 million bags of coffee. Then when you convert and then have the figures really late, you find that 3.5 million bags of coffee against 40 million or 39 million of people, it's nothing. So it's like, why burning your ticket and accommodation, etc., to come in Istanbul, yet you have a market waiting? And indeed, it was really absolutely right. Because why should I really get bothered to export green raw material to European countries? Yet I'm looking at the number of 120 million East African population, of which these guys can consume my what?
Your coffee.
My product. So when we're talking of developing up a culture, we need to restructure the industry itself. We need to know who is doing what. If Emma is into media, exposing the behaviors, people who are behind counters, who are behind roasting engines, people who are doing farming. What's the role of Gerald now? What's the role of the roaster guy? What's the role of the logistic guy who transports this coffee from the origins to the main roasters? And what's the role of the kappa who tests this coffee? What's the role of the marketer who is into marketing hotels? So all these guys must come together and then have a strategy, to a concrete strategy to make things move. And this is how we must design a structure that is really categorized into 2 to 3 agents. We need a structure of farmers.
Yeah.
A farmer's voice definitely will come with a voice and say, no, look, if you're a farmer X operating from Rwenzo region, you must meet these standards. Because I'm a roaster, and I'm a marketer, and I'm a broker, so I meet all these questions. Then a farmer from Elgon zone must meet these standards, because these are different angles, and they produce different
types of
exactly. So it's the same way I can say, I can give you an example of the breweries. You have a club beer and then have a bell beer.
Yeah.
They totally taste different. So folks will either go for a club beer and others will go for a bell. There is a reason to why they are born into these brands. Same applies to an appellation center I'm talking about. So an appellation center customized into three areas or structures of farmers with a single voice. You get? They will say, no, today we're not going to export this coffee. And they put a bulkhead. And to happen, you see culture coming up. We have roasters who will say, no, the moisture content we want, we've set 11% of the moisture content of your bean should be into the drum. The 14 will be thrown out. You are building a culture. The barista will say, no, you see the bean that has all these choky, these broken ones, these defects, etc., pest-connected beans, I don't want it into the grinder. You say culture building up. When you build those elements together, you're able now to have a consistently brewed product in the market. If I come to Hotel Millennium in Bukoto and have an espresso, same I should be expecting with Cafe Javas. So if we don't have those structured components within an industry, forget.